Yeah, when you wake up in the morning, when you share DNA with this failed people primate species, you hear a lot about, the war in Iran. You hear some experts, and they sometimes have what you believe also as a specialist in the human condition, what could be accurate or inaccurate. But nobody, they're all happy, these specialists, these experts, to be called upon to talk, but they don't talk about how discouraging it is or what that kind of predicts for the future for our species. They just are very happy to discuss what they're interested in. They don't reflect like a sentience or true altruism, right, towards their fellow people primates. I turned on my phone this morning and I'll just read to you. I apologize, Martin. I forgot that English isn't your first language. And this is this is better writing, by the way. He wants to look good here. It will take only about an hour if you'd like to finish your application, but it is currently incomplete. Feel free to call me Monday if you'd like. Off to spend time with my family, Martin. Enjoy your weekend, my friend. I don't want to use the word friend. I would just use buddy. But so this is who, and I'd have to read you the sequence of texts that I sent before that predicts the person won't get the point that this is how I experience interacting with you, and I'm disappointed. I'll read you that part where he kind of goes there, and that's the dilemma I have. Okay, that's really something I'm not always sure about. Okay, like the email I just read to you, I'm not certain if the person actually believes that my English is not good enough as an explanation to what's happened in our interactions before. Okay, I'm actually not certain. Like, he might believe he's so competent, this person with a gun who represents, the federal government, that he kind of can't look at himself in the mirror. He actually might believe it's my English that is the issue, and that's me that has university degrees in English, so much higher than his education. That's me that interacts with people who months later realize, what, French is your first language, not English? I didn't know you spoke French, right? Because my English is advanced in communication compared to these folks here, right? These rednecks. And I'm very disappointed in his incompetence and his inability to focus on the right things. Like, if he wants to meet at the library, I'd have to reserve a room so he's not distracted and ask him to turn off his phone so he can do a good job, so that I'm not suffering all the delays that I've previously suffered. But it's more complicated than that. It's more... Okay, so here's two of my longer messages, okay, that I sent. I am clear on your facts and explanations, Rich. If you choose to learn more about my own explanations and what types of behaviors that I feel obligated to role model to the Canadian Armed Forces since returning to Canada and wanting to be of service here, then give me a time that you will call me tomorrow, and we'll have a more serious talk. You are right, I have not yet accepted indoctrination and been sworn in. So for now, yourself and others will have to keep dealing with me as a self-respecting, grown-up, responsible adult man. Now, reading this, he might think, oh, this guy's English isn't good. It's so far from the norm, the way he talks to me, and he's interested in joining this organization. It could be that he's like that gone, right? But it could also be that he's being disrespectful to me at the end, which is a point. When so many people in charge don't earn my respect or my trust, and it's so easy for me to document the exchanges here on how it leads to this. And so many people are like this and hang out with their familiars, the norm of incompetence and inability or unwillingness to look at themselves in the mirror and to take responsibility for some sort of personal growth when they interact with somebody whose standards, let's say even in English communication, is much higher than them. It's hard not to suffer from species alienation, right? So after the one I just read, this is the one that is longer that I wrote. Rich, we don't live by the same standards, and I cannot change that. If your superior wants to speak with me, because when I handed in some of my paperwork, he said one of them's in French, my superior, not sure what he called the title of the superior, is going to like that because he's French too. If your superior wants to speak to me in French, speak with me, and then I put French in brackets because I'm just trying to make sure that that's the one that speaks French. I'm not saying I don't understand your English, and does he think I'm too dumb to say that that's the issue? I don't understand here. Can you repeat? Do you mean this? Because that's somebody with good communication skills, and I can do that. But that's not what I'm doing here. I'm just saying, is that the guy you're talking about? Then they can contact me. For now, I choose to no longer take part in my efforts to serve based on many red flags. If changes come in the future where standards may vibrate at similar frequencies, then the Canadian Rangers can ask for me to possibly choose to associate myself with them again. By making their case for it then. That means they'll have to convince me. That means they have to hear my story to know how to try to convince me about what it's been like interacting with them. This is not me dishonorably discharging the Canadian Armed Forces. In fact, feel free to submit my papers as they were given to you. Have a good weekend, Martin. And then it's the one I read that he responded. Okay, so for me, that's it. And I may never even hear back from him, right? Because, he wants to talk with other guys that go fishing and hunting and have lived here a long time and share the same kind of gossiping and the same kind of interests. He's not interested in getting to know somebody, and that's the flaw of all social structures. The Canadian Armed Forces, most certainly. And when you have Prime Minister Carney that wants to invest more money, instead of create policies where they attract talent or specialists, instead of because it's very clear when they describe the Canadian Rangers. You could be an expert in firefighting, in ATV, is when you go with them. Eventually there's training on those things, maybe. But then your expertise is out the window. You have to pretend you don't have the expertise, and you're trained by somebody that will just make you do donuts with your ATV, and then you're certified to do donuts with the Canadian Armed Forces. So the structure devolves itself, and when you add money to it, you accelerate the devolution of the human condition. Now, do I think Carney understands this by the few pages of his book, Values, that I've read? Of course, I don't think so. He's got a bachelor's, a master's, and a PhD in economics. So in a way, when I talk about things that is outside of his norm, Prime Minister Carney, he would also believe that I have issues understanding his English. And of course,